It's good to be with you again, and it's a blessing and a privilege to be able to endeavor to encourage you. Well, of course, it is the Holy Spirit that does the encouraging. Aren't you glad that He is the one called alongside of us to meet our needs? And no matter what we're going through, we have all that we need within us, if we're saved, to think right and to have the power to do right. But one of the things that we do face is in prolonged pressure times is the matter of getting irritable. Now, it's amazing how easy it is for us to categorize sins. We have the really bad ones and then the not so bad ones. And it's very easy for us to say, well, irritability is just part of life. It's not really that big a deal. Well, it is a big deal. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the tremendous chapter on what is genuine agape love, we find that irritability is the opposite of love. And we find in verse 5 of chapter 13, love doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked. Just a good translation of that is exasperated, irritated, frustrated. And it's very easy for us to get into that kind of situation. It's interesting, right before it says, not easily provoked, it talks about seeketh not her own. Really, irritability is self-centeredness. It's when we step out of being empowered by the Spirit and we begin to look at things that we want to do and things that we like or don't like, and then the things that we see in those close to us that we're with a lot now because of what's going on, we begin to react to those, and it crosses what we like, what we want, and we can become irritable. Also, just not having enough exercise, and I certainly encourage you to exercise, I encourage you to get out as much as possible into the fresh air, I encourage you to do different activities, but when we don't do that, there's just that human tendency to be more irritable also. So we need to realize that this is a great opportunity for us to be a blessing to one another, but the temptation is going to be to fall into this matter of being provoked, to be exasperated, to be irritated. And we need to call it what it really is. It's lack of love, therefore it is sin. And once you categorize something as sin, well, then you can handle it properly. So let's don't just minimize this matter of irritability. Let's look at why are we having it? Are we not sleeping well? Are we not exercising? Especially, are we not walking with God, spending the time to rest our soul in Him and to have the Spirit of God take charge of our life? Because the fruit of the Spirit is love. The very first part of that whole beautiful picture of the Spirit of God in our life, working out divine reality. Love is right there as a capstone. God is love. And so when the Spirit of God is in control, then we will not have that self-centered reaction as easily, and we won't be irritable. Now let me just say too, irritability begins to wear on other people. They become self-conscious. They begin to get on the defensive. They get a little bit nervous. How are you going to react? And unfortunately, that can provoke them to do the same thing or worse. Mothers that are irritable will have kids on edge. Husbands who are irritable are going to have wives that are insecure. And wives who are irritable are going to create a sense of burden on the part of the husband. And on you can go into all the different relationships. And it really is a tool that Satan has in his toolbox that is subtle many times, that can cause more damage than we know, and certainly will stop the work of the Spirit from accomplishing eternal, lasting things through our life. So I want to encourage you, you and I can be free of that. None of us are happy when we get irritable. We know that's not right. And it's just a joy to have that freedom, that depth of refreshment in our soul, that sense of just caring about others, all of that is supernatural. And when that dominates our life, it's just like a refreshing stream coming out of our heart and life. It refreshes us and it refreshes everyone else. So take the challenge. Let's have a day today that we're just not irritable, because the Holy Spirit's not. And we can trust Him to give us the fruit of the Spirit, which is love.